SteamWorld Heist 2 is a turn-based tactical strategy game. You are Captain Leeway, piloting a submarine across the high seas of outer space. You will fight the diesel bots and more as you attempt to discover why all of the clean water that powers your people is going bad. It's a sequel to the excellent 2016 original, and by the end of my 20 or so hours, I had fallen in love with this almost Worms-like mix of tactical movement and real-time aiming. So let's break down why in the XboxEra review of SteamWorld Heist 2. The story begins with your captain, the son of a hero who killed the Kraken. The first title took place 100 years after SteamWorld Dig, when all the robots had been forced into space after the destruction of Earth. Now you are on the Great Sea, a series of bodies of water that are flying through space, and you traverse on a submarine. The story took me about 20 hours or so to complete on mostly normal, though I had bumped it up to hard later on difficulty, and it did a serviceable job of upping the emotional stake as I put together a crew to face down progressively tougher enemies. The game loop sees you start at a local bar, which you can traverse with 2D movement as Captain Leeway. Then heading out into the overworld map, you have full isometric control of your submarine. At first, it can't go under the water though due to damage it sustained in the opening cutscene. The boat feels and controls really well, whether I was on a keyboard or on a controller on Steam Deck. There's just enough momentum to make it feel like you're skidding around without ever going completely out of control. And as you are skimming through the map, you'll find a bunch of starred difficulty mission types alongside their potential rewards. Earning enough of those stars is how you progress the story, so the better you do in a mission, aka fewer bot deaths, the faster you can progress. The main action itself is a 2D turn-based system that should feel at home for fans of the first game or really any recent tactics title, kind of like a Gears Tactics. Each bot in your crew has a class type that is set by their weapon of choice. A big part of the game is swapping weapons around on each character so that you can unlock passive bonuses from each class. Running missions with a varied crew, multiple times even, helped a lot in powering up my bots for the incredibly difficult later missions. And if difficulty isn't your style, there is a story setting that makes the gameplay a lot easier with really no grinding required. Once you are in a mission, every move counts. You can have generally up to 5 bots, though it varies anywhere between 2 and 4 most of the time. They get 2 action points at a time by default, and while some of your moves can be free and not cost an action point, they will then instead have either limited uses or a long cooldown associated with them. Movement always costs you at least 1 action point unless you get some sort of extra proc, and you can go within a certain range, which shows up as yellow, and if you want to go even further, it turns blue, but it will use 2 action points at that point. Your main attack will always end your turn outright, again barring any class-specific stuff, and there are equipable weapons that can either be a free action or a 1 action per point use. They range from grenades to pistols, rockets, and a lot more. You can find weaponry in loot chests throughout missions, or buy it at bars and various other vendors around the Great Sea. Clean water is your main currency, which can be found either on the open waters, especially after blowing up other ships, or also in loot chests. For crew upgrades though, you will need crystals that are found in the exact same ways, and it is a steady, satisfying progression system that opens up a ton of options for how you want to outfit your crew. Each bot has 2 innate abilities in a specific setup that differentiates them from one another. As you level up class types, you'll unlock passive cogs, which can stay active even after you swap to another weapon or class. Having a sniper build up to level 5 means you can get excellent aiming perks, or having the big brute abilities will keep even your flanking shotgunner upright in the most heated fights thanks to that extra health pool. Combat itself sees you moving from cover to cover whenever possible and then manually aiming your shots. It's all 2D with a lot of tight walls and ceilings, so you'll have to get good at learning grenade launcher arches, sniper bullet ricochet angles, and just how you should move in each turn. There's also enough variety in the objectives that I never got bored, despite the game's decently long runtime. I wouldn't be surprised if a 100% on the harder difficulties took over 30 hours. It also does a great job of giving you various carrots on sticks. Those numbers never stop going up. As you complete missions, you'll unlock bounty points, which you can spend to get new weapons, clean water, or crystals. Every character's class level's constantly going up as you use them, even banking points if you fully maxed out that job, and then it goes right into the next one when you swap. You can upgrade your ship's weapons, shields, speed, more, and it all felt great playing on either PC or Steam Deck, which both ran it beautifully. I think SteamWorld Heist 2 is a really good-looking, smaller budget title. If you've played any SteamWorld game, then you know the art style. It's clean, vibrant, and full of heart. I played primarily on PC and Steam Deck, where it ran and looked great. I didn't get to check out the Xbox version, so you'll want to see how that one runs before buying it, but man, I cannot imagine it struggling at all. There's nothing crazy going on here graphically, with even the clouds that fog up the sea until you approach them being a static image that not some fancy volumetric effect. The music is done again by steam-powered Giraffe, and it rules. It's got light, breezy, jazzy tones while you're sailing around, or exciting fight music during missions, and a delightful, fully sung chorus when you're at the local bars. Your crew needs to rest in between missions, so you're going to hit up those bars, take in those great tunes, maybe buy some new gear, or recruit a new member. Then you'll rest so that everyone is ready to go tomorrow. And the game never broke on me, working well as I hop between devices and never crashing. My only real issue with the game were the regenerating enemy types that show up really late. They were not nearly as fun to fight as the main antagonists, and I had gone up to higher difficulties by that point, and I ended up knocking it back down to normal just so I could get past them more easily. Also, it is a play anywhere game on Xbox, which means you get it for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC if you purchase it on that platform. As one of the better handheld games I've played, that is a huge bonus for any Windows handheld device owning customers. Wrapping things up, SteamWorld Heist 2 is a delight. Brilliant tactical combat is mixed with a clever story, great music, and engaging progression. Whether you've played the first title or not, if you are into turn-based strategic combat, I think this is one to check out.